All right, everybody, we're going to begin our meeting. Call to order our regular meeting of December 3rd, 2025. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
Here.
Commissioner Beck, Commissioner Chauncey,
Here.
Commissioner Eversol,
Here.
Commissioner Graham,
Here.
Commissioner Helton, Dr. Highlander,
Here.
Dr. Mackey,
Here.
Commissioner Sharp,
He's here.
Commissioner Shipley, Chairman Smith.
Here. Thank you. I have an invocation and then I will lead us in the pledge. So if you would all please rise. Our invocation this evening will be given by Pastor Doug Plumley of Ridgedale Baptist Church.
Would you pray with me? God, today we come out of the Thanksgiving season, and all of us have so much to be thankful for. And I pray that we will always remember the blessings you give us day by day, the many blessings we have here in the country, and the freedoms that we enjoy. And God, today I come and I pray in a special way that as we move into the Christmas season, we not get too busy and too big in a hurry that we forget the reason we celebrate is the birth of Jesus. But God, I pray today for each of these commissioners and elected officials as they have this meeting, give them wisdom and guidance as they make the right decisions for our community. They have a lot of responsibility, and I pray your blessings and guidance for them. But Lord, I pray in a special time of this year for their families. I lift them up to you today because there's a lot of pressures put on them as their loved ones are caring for our community and serving in so many ways. So just remind them of your love and of your care in a special way. But today, God, we thank you for all the blessings you give us. We pray all these things now in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please face the flag, render the proper salute. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have no presentations today. It takes us down to minutes needing entered and recorded for November 12th, 2025 recess meeting, November 12th, 2025 agenda meeting, November 19th, 2025 regular meeting. It's the will of the commission.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Eversol, second by Commissioner Highlander. Lights, no one standing. Roll call, please.
Chairman, if I can just
Yes, ma'am.
acknowledge that Commissioner Sharp is here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck,
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey.
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Commissioner Helton, Dr. Highlander.
Yes.
Dr. Mackey.
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp.
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley.
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. Thank you. We have 3 reports to enter into the record. Is that right, Madam Clerk?
Will do, Chairman.
Thank you. All right, and just as a quick reminder, today's meeting is a combined meeting since we missed and we did not meet last week. So this will be a regular meeting with all the items on this agenda will be committee of a whole. So that takes us to resolutions. Madam Clerk, please read 1225-1.
Resolution 1225-1, a resolution to approve and accept applications for notary public positions, the bonds and oaths of notaries previously elected, the oaths of deputy sheriff, the oaths of deputy county trustees, and to file the bonds of Hamilton County 911 Emergency Communication District.
Thank you.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Graham, second by Commissioner Highlander. No lights, no one standing. Roll call.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes.
Commissioner Beck, Commissioner Chauncey.
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Commissioner Helton,
Yes.
Dr. Highlander.
Yes.
Dr. Mackey.
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp.
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley. Chairman Smith.
Yes. Thank you. Madam Clerk, 1225-2, please.
Resolution 1225-2, a resolution to appoint one member to the Citizens Advisory Board for Recreation for a 2-year term beginning December 3rd, 2025 and ending December 3rd, 2027. This will appoint Ryan Jenkins.
Motion to approve.
All right, got a motion by Commissioner Shipley, second by Commissioner Graham. No lights. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck, Commissioner Chauncey,
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham, Commissioner Helton,
Yes.
Dr. Highlander.
Yes.
Dr. Mackey.
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp.
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley.
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. Thank you. 1225-2 passes. 1225-3, please.
Resolution 1222-3, a resolution to confirm the reappointment of Dr. Becca Martin to the Hamilton County Regional Health Council.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Graham, second by Commissioner Baker. No lights standing. Roll call.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck, Commissioner Chauncey.
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Commissioner Helton,
Yes.
Dr. Highlander.
Yes.
Dr. Mackey,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp,
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley, Chairman Smith.
Yes. 1225-3 passes. 1225-4, please.
Resolution 1225-4, a resolution to confirm the appointment of Stephen E. Meyer to the Hamilton County Regional Health Council.
Motion approved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Graham, second by Commissioner Beck. No lights, no one standing. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck,
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey,
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham, Commissioner Helton,
Yes.
Dr. Highlander.
Yes.
Dr. Mackey, Commissioner Sharp.
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley,
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. Commissioner Mackey, did you need your light on this, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, I still believe that the more people who are involved in government, the better leadership and answers you'll get. These appointments, many of them, they're great people, don't get me wrong, but I would love to see us rotate and get new people on a regular basis to serve in government. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you, sir. With that, 1225-4 passes. Madam Clerk, 1225-5.
Resolution 1225-5, a resolution approving the updated 2026 Hamilton County General Government Employee Handbook and therefore replacing all previous version.
Got a motion by Commissioner Graham, second by Commissioner Baker. Commissioner Sharp.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I attended a couple of meetings with the Health Committee chaired by Commissioner Baker, and we had some good dialogue around this. Have there been any additional changes that we know of? I don't see Ms. Ellis here. Other than what we discussed in that meeting, or is this as presented in the meeting?
Commissioner, it's as presented.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Chairman.
Good, sir. Okay. Commissioner Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Ellis, I want to thank you. You don't have to come back up to mic. I want to thank you and your staff. I know this was a very long undertaking, but the way that you went about it, bringing everybody involved and bringing everybody to the table and getting everybody's input, I mean, that was an amazing way to do this. And it shows by the way the new changes are in the handbook and the way it brings everybody to the same conclusion or the same rules and regulations that treats everybody the same. And I just wanted to commend you for that and thank you very much for all your hard work on that and your staff's hard work. You know, what makes Hamilton County great, I say it all the time, is the staff and it's the people that run it. And that's you. So thank you.
You bet. No further lights, no one standing. Roll call.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck, Commissioner Chauncey.
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Commissioner Helton,
Yes.
Dr. Highlander.
Yes.
Dr. Mackey,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp.
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley,
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. 1225-5 passes. 1225-6, please.
Resolution 1225-6, a resolution authorizing Hamilton County to submit a brownfield voluntary agreement application jointly with the city of Chattanooga to the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation in substantially the form attached, and if approved, to enter into such brownfield voluntary agreement and notice of land use restrictions for certain portions of property at the Finley Stadium Park campus.
What's the will of the commission? Got a motion by Commissioner Graham, second by Commissioner Highlander. Commissioner Baker, I see your light, sir.
Yeah, just Todd, if you don't mind, a little explanation.
Sure. Y'all may be aware, the city of Chattanooga owns we own joint property at Finley Stadium. They're moving through a process. They have received a BRAG grant, which is a Brownfield Redevelopment Area grant to redevelop the skate park and the dog park area. So since we are joint owners of that property, to go into an agreement for a brownfield voluntary agreement with TDEC, which we do in most cases that we develop brownfields, it limits our liability. It also provides some other provisions in a voluntary agreement. So as joint owners, we both have to apply. So this is a resolution that allows us to apply with the city of Chattanooga for that voluntary agreement so they can receive these bragg grants. There is no county funds currently involved with this particular issue or item.
Great explanation, Todd. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
No further lights. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck,
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey,
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Commissioner Helton.
Yes.
Dr. Highlander.
Yes.
Dr. Mackey.
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp.
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley.
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. 1225-6 passes. Madam Clerk, 1225-7, please.
Resolution 1225-7, a resolution to allocate $115,000 of unrestricted opioid distributor settlement funds to expand access to Sublocade for participants in the medication assisted treatment program at the Hamilton County Jail and Detention Center, and to amend the fiscal year 2026 general fund revenues and expenditures budgets of the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office and the opioid abatement settlements accordingly.
All right, it's will of the commission.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Helton, second by Commissioner Shipley. Lights. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck,
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey,
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Commissioner Helton.
Yes.
Dr. Highlander.
Yes.
Dr. Mackey.
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp.
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley.
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. 1225-7 passes. Madam Clerk, 1225-8, please.
Resolution 1225-8, a resolution to allocate $500,000 of previously budgeted funds to the Humane Educational Society.
Got a motion by Commissioner Graham, second by Commissioner Eversol. Lights? No. I see people reaching for lights, but I'm. All right, Commissioner Eversol.
Thank you, Chairman. Lee, can you explain 500,000 previously budgeted funds? So we're going to allocate what we set aside is going actually to the Humane Society?
Yes, we had so set aside in the budget $500,000 for animal control services that basically there was an allocation of funds to the Humane Society, and then there was an additional allocation of $500,000 to animal control services that we basically did not at the time of the budget didn't have it allocated specifically to HES.
So for transparency, why are we now, Chief Ryder, you want to, I mean, I don't know who can answer that, but can anyone, for transparency, we say why we're all of a sudden now giving it to them?
Well, we're putting it up for the commission's consideration to give it to them.
Okay.
But the money was set aside, so we didn't have to do any type of actual budget amendment relative to a fund balance allocation. The request for HES, I know, had specific conversations in this room and outside of this room about what the needs were as presented by HES relative to how much support financially Hamilton County government was going to be able to do for them. So we came back in budgeting at the same amount as last year's fiscal, with this $500,000 as a set aside buffer in the event that the commission, in addition to HES's presentation, decides to move the allocation in the budget up to the level that they had originally requested. We did not want to encounter any type of critical incident or critical event, and the budgeting had not reached the level upon their request. So this was used to basically as a set aside for this commission's awareness and review to determine whether it would be allocated either in part or in whole.
So this is 500 more than the.
Than the original allocation in the fiscal, yes, sir.
So what's that make the total? Lee, what does that make the total for the?
I think it's around 1.4, and it's going to be and change in that somewhere, sir.
Okay. Okay, that's all the questions I got right now. Thanks.
Commissioner Helton.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know who to direct this to, but I know when we talked about this allocation before allocating anything to the Humane Society, there were several of us up here who had some reservations about their operations. Has anything changed materially from what it was before?
If it pleases the commission and chair, members of HES are here today to present just that. So they can not only present any changes that they've made operationally and in staffing and in fundraising, and then also answer any questions from this group.
let me jump in here real quick. Madam Clerk, get the presentation available. I have a number of lights. Those of you that still have your lights on, is there any objection to allowing HES to address us first before we go to those lights? Okay. Are you okay if we wait until afterwards? Good. Everybody good? Okay. If you don't mind bringing up the presentation, name and address for the record.
My name is Ty Federico. I live at 123 Brailsford Road. I'm not sure. Okay. Thank you very much. Happy to be here on behalf of the Humane Society today to address any concerns you have about the Humane Society and our operations and some changes that we've made out there to run more efficiently, more smoothly. Just like to emphasize that the Humane Society operates in partnership with Hamilton County and some of the other municipalities around. Who we are and what we do, I think everybody has an idea of what we do. It's not always really exactly what we do. Our mission statement is to provide a safe haven for homeless, abused, neglected animals in our community and advocate on their behalf. We serve Hamilton County, specifically unincorporated Hamilton County in this case, with animal control and animal sheltering. We have a no-kill status with Best Friends Animal Society. That's a very prestigious level of operation. That means we have a 90% live release rate. There's a huge level of commitment in Hamilton County to pets, it's dogs and cats. We have 60% of households in Hamilton County own a pet. We have hundreds of volunteers and hundreds of fosters in our program. We do provide animal control as well as rabies control for Hamilton County, unincorporated Hamilton County specifically. We have undertaken financial improvements, organizational improvements as a response to the growing pains that we experienced kind of early on in our new building. This is a pie chart that represents our revenue. And I don't know, you guys can't see the red dot really, but if you see the red triangle on the top right corner of that circle, that is the amount of money that Hamilton County currently contributes to the overall operation of the Humane Society. We're asking for an additional $500,000. So unincorporated Hamilton County provides us with 70% of our animal intake cases. And currently Hamilton County is providing us with about 28% of our income. So at the rate that we're asking for with the additional $500,000, that would take us to about 40% of our total income. So we still, from other sources, are raising 60% of the revenue that we use to run the shelter and all of our programs. Just to give you some perspective on that, currently we're funded at if you go to the bottom graph on the top right, we're funded at $6.9 or $6.95 per capita. Put that in perspective, Chattanooga is at $11.50. East Ridge is at over $14. Walker County is at $13.75. We're asking with the additional funds, that would take us up to $10.68 per capita. This is just for unincorporated Hamilton County. It's all that we're talking about right now, which is still, below our sort of peer organizations in the region. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have about our operations to the best of my abilities.
Commissioner Helton, you still have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Federico, as far as your staffing, could you just sort of walk through the actual changes? What's different versus what it was a year ago?
Sure. Well, we've decreased our staffing costs probably by about 20%. We've downsized the staff. We've also we've reduced the number of animals that we house at the shelter, and there's a corresponding decrease in the amount of animal care staff that we have to have. I'm currently the interim executive director, and I'm serving without salary. And we didn't have a development director for a long time. So now we've got a new development director. So we were able to
contain staffing costs by downsizing both the shelter and the animal care staff.
Okay, are your fundraising efforts, are they yielding any results?
We have had a very positive first 4 months of fiscal 26. We've been very positive, and we have our big fundraiser, the Faux First, coming up, and I hope to see you guys all there. We would love to have you at the president's table, but we are experiencing some really good success with our fundraising.
Well, thank you very much. I know it's been painful, but we appreciate the operational improvement, and that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Commissioner Highlander.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Frederico, thank you for your service. I'm on the board of the Fund for Excellence Coupon Books, and we were without an executive director, and Mr. LeBron Sturkey, retired principal, came and did the same thing you're doing and work his posterior office, I'm sure you're doing, and do it without pay, and very much appreciate what you're doing. I will say this, I have some connection there, and I've observed and talked to other people that are involved, and they have agreed with what you're saying, that you have made a lot of cuts, everything's positive. And this is not to say the people that were there before were not caring and concerned. They were. It's just that you're bringing efficiency to it, and that's what we needed, very, very much so. I do have a question for Mr. Bruner,
Please.
if I may. Is this $500,000, will it be recurring, or is this one time?
Right now, what we're talking about is one time. I think I would be surprised if it's not included in next year's request from Humane Society.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Frederico.
Thank you.
Commissioner Graham.
Commissioner Highlander just asked my question whether it was recurring or not, but since I have the floor, it did bring me to notice one statement, I guess, or question for Mr. Frederico. We've had a very turmoil year with the Humane Society. You went 3 years without paying property taxes you shouldn't have been responsible for in the first place, but you didn't file the proper paperwork. And this body came to your rescue and made that go away. And then we also got with our colleagues on the city council, and they made that go away. So this has been a banner year for the Humane Society with local government. Even though you don't serve the city, they still helped you out tremendously, and they're to be applauded for that. The city did us a huge favor to help you and to help the Humane Society. And then the county did a huge favor by paying for your $10 million building with no reversionary clause. And then we helped you with the taxes as well. And now we're helping you again. Don't squander our money. Do it right.
I appreciate your comments, Commissioner, and I promise you we're squeezing every dollar.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Good, sir. Commissioner Mackey.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, how pressing is it to pass this issue today?
I might have to direct that to Mr. Browner, since your name's on the item.
And again, I'd probably have to forward that to Mr. Federico on how pressing for their needs for funding.
I'm not sure I understand the context of the question. Do you mean, do we need this money to meet payroll this week, or we need it in this fiscal year to finish this fiscal year? It's in our budget for this fiscal year for us to be as a zero balance budget. But I'm so sorry to interrupt you, sir, but
Sure.
you guys did prepay us the 900 that you approved in the budget. And so we're still living on that to a certain extent, but it will run out.
Yeah. A couple of 3 weeks ago, the mayor brought a resolution providing food for hungry people. And Mr. Chairman, what I'm interested in knowing is what level of need is it among the people in Hamilton County? I don't know if anyone has that answer right now, but before we vote on this to give money to animals, I'd like to know what the human needs are. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Shipley?
Thank you, Chairman. I'm gonna support the resolution. I feel like Joe, Commissioner Graham, we did a lot.
Yes, sir.
But there's one thing I'm gonna ask you. I don't wanna get phone calls where we got stray animals and they call me and say they won't help. They won't bring a cage. Please help the people out here that's paying the bills that we're voting for the money. When they call, help them.
Yes, sir.
I've had this disagreement 20 years with the Humane Society when I was at St. Daisy. Please help the people. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Baker?
Thank you. I'm gonna call you by your proper name, Dr. Frederica. It's good to have you here. We've had discussions over the last
I only
7
hear that
years.
when I'm in trouble, so.
That's right. So I guess I've got a few questions and I appreciate what you're doing very much and the board very much for, I know it's been difficult, not been fun conversations, and we go back 7 years or so for the initial
Yes.
conversation about the new
Yes.
facility. But I just to help me understand, Lee, our support, what were the numbers? It's gone, if we're suggesting 1.4 million, what was it like 3-4 years ago, and how much has it gone up? Ballpark's good enough.
Do they?
I've got those numbers on a history. I'd have to look that up real quick. I can tell you that last year it was $843,000 that we increased it from 843 to 900,000 for this year. Plus we set aside 500,000 additional, but if you want to go forward, I can look that up in a couple of minutes and be able to
That'd
tell you.
good.
the
I'd just like to
history.
know and make sure everyone, because it's something, somehow like 400,000 about 4 years ago seems to ring to me, but that's kind of part of what our discussion was a few years back. I appreciate what you're doing with reducing the staffing. And you said you decreased the amount of animals. How did you do that, and what percent ballpark?
Well, it was not entirely voluntary. One of the air conditioner units went down over one of our wards, and so we lost about 25 runs. It's going to be about a $80,000 repair to get that back up and running again. So
You should be good right now.
we're good right now. It's cool enough. So, we chose not to spend the money on the repair, and we were able to decrease the staff correspondingly. So, at some point, we do want to get that running back up again. We feel like it's important. The shelter was designed to fit the needs of a growing Hamilton County. So I do think that we'll need that at some point in the future.
Yeah. As I understood, the 500,000 additional, I was kind of told it might be one time, but if you had your druthers, would it be?
No, so we originally asked for 1.9, and I'm not sure how the budget would work without the 1.4. Like at that point, that's literally only 40% of our total budget. And, we've committed to raising hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we've got we're running the thrift store to raise money, and we're doing community spay neuter to raise money. So, we've tried to optimize our income as much as we can in as many different ways. And, unless we just get a bequest out of the blue, which we occasionally do, but we can't count on that. I don't know that we could make it with less than 1.4.
Yeah, I wish you, what's the ACL on the back leg of an Australian Shepherd?
It's a cranial cruciate ligament.
Yeah, I wish you did those repairs because they ain't cheap. I just had 2 in the last 6 months. Not fun. The last question would be, when you had, how much longer are you going to do this? And again, thank you.
Well, you're welcome. My hope is that once we get our financial situation stabilized, that we can then start to look, for a new executive director. So
So as long as it takes more or less.
as
Awesome.
long as I'm here for as long as it takes, the duration. Yes, sir.
Again, you're to be applauded for that.
Oh, thank
Your
you.
board appreciates that. So thank you for answering my question.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Graham, I see your light again.
Yes, sir.
Actually, hold, if you don't mind. Commissioner Sharp has not had a chance to ask a question yet. I'd like to make sure to get to him.
Thank you, Chairman. I wasn't going to say anything at all. I'm a big supporter of the Humane Society. You guys do great work. Dr. Federico, thank you. I know you have some supporters here with you. Thank you all as well. Hamilton County, it's been mentioned, Hamilton County went out and spent a lot of money providing new facilities for the Humane Society. And I voted for that, and I stand behind that vote because the facilities beforehand, I think it's important to note for those who have not kept up with the conversation. Horrible. Yeah, they're horrible, abysmal, inhumane, one might say. It could have been called the Inhumane Society. That not just
That
for
would
the
not be good
animals,
for fundraising perspective.
not just for the animals, but for the employees and the volunteers that make it work every day. That was fun. Thanks. I mean, to the point where shortly after the building was vacated, the county demolished the building. I mean, we don't do that very often. We tore the building down. It's not a safe facility for people to occupy. Now, the Humane Educational Society goes above and beyond the call of duty. Hamilton County, all counties are required under law to provide certain animal control operations. The Humane Society goes well above and beyond that. But I just want to point out that in going well above and beyond this level of service, there's also a tremendous effort to go well above and beyond with regard to fundraising to provide the revenue necessary for going above and beyond. I believe oftentimes, people lose sight of the fact that going above and beyond the call of duty for animals with regard to the Humane Educational Society is provided with private dollars. But it is our responsibility as a county government to provide certain services. And I know some of my colleagues have agreed with me from time to time that when we can find opportunity to partner with nonprofit organizations to provide a service that Hamilton County would be required to provide, if not for that nonprofit organization, and we could do so in a more efficient way, then we should absolutely take advantage of all those opportunities. I think this is one of those cases. I thank you guys for all the work that you do. Lee, whoever brought the resolution, I appreciate that you bring it here. I will continue to support the Humane Educational Society and this resolution. And thank you for the time, Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Commissioner Graham?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I truly am going to support this. I mean, I made the motion to put on the floor. But I have a question, Mr. Federico, Dr. Federico, how much is in your fund balance now, or how much is in your savings account?
We have about $1.7 million with our investment account and our banking account right now.
Untouched,
No, we use it all the time. That well, a lot of that is that we still have 8 months of the year from the $900,000 that we got before. And then we have our operating reserve, and, we have the money that we've saved on my salary basically for the last year. So it's all, being put to use in one way or another.
So you do or you don't have a savings account? When you were here before, you told us you had a savings account that was an interest-bearing account you couldn't get into. Mr. Kennedy said that, and it was in upwards of $1 million.
So I don't know what that would have been in reference to. We have an investment account that has about $550,000 in it. That is an account that we've had to draw down from $1 million to $500,000 during the recent disturbances that we've experienced. And we have bank accounts that have, like the money that we get in from the thrift store, the money that we take in. We have an operating account, a payroll account, and we have a money market account. I'm not sure if I answered your question. I'm not sure I understand your question, Commissioner. Yes. $50,000, but we don't, I mean, it's not used as a savings. Our savings is in a money market account. The money that we get from you guys is in a money market account.
When you were here, Mr. Kennedy, the last time, there was, and I don't remember the exact amount is the problem. I want to say it was $700,000 of unreserved, I mean, assigned money that was in a money market account that was a interest-bearing account that you couldn't touch. And you're telling me now that that 700,000 or plus is
Okay.
down to $50,000?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I think what you're remembering is that our investment account was at $750,000 when he came before you at the first of the year. We had to take $250,000 out of that to make payroll. And then before we got paid, so we got a $900,000 check at the beginning of the fiscal year in July the 1st. So before that, we had to take money out of our investment account to make payroll. So that $750,000 is now $550,000 in our investment account.
Before you come before us in the spring with their new budget, obviously with 1.4 or more, before you come before us, please get all those finances together for us.
Sure.
So we can see them when we do
Absolutely.
the budget. So these questions are answered.
Yes, sir.
And that we're not having to do it from memory, we actually have it in front of us.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Good, sir. Commissioner Baker, you had another line?
Yeah, I just, Lee, you have those numbers, right?
Yes, sir. And again, going back historically, I guess even going back to 2009, for the next, from 2009 through 2015, the fixed appropriation was $395,000 a year. In 2016, that 395 went up to $621,000. And we basically per year allocated $621,000 for the next 8 years. And then in 2024, we went from 621,000 to 766,000. 2025, it went to 843,000. And then 2026 is 900,000 plus 500,000 set aside, as we've talked about.
Okay, I appreciate it. That way at least we have perspective. And, again, we appreciate, I think everybody here supports the Humane Society. I personally am indebted to you for, did you ever think when you retired, this is what you'd be doing?
I did not.
Yeah, you're supposed to go to the beach.
I know.
So, but anyway, thank you for what you do.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And the board.
All right, we are done with lights, so I'll make one final comment. Dr. Federico, thank you for being here.
Sure.
Thank you for jumping into the hot seat. I want to say I was one of the biggest opponents funding HES. Since that time, we've had a number of meetings and your organization has made a number of changes. Some I will not name because I don't believe that names should be named publicly in these situations. But you've made some significant changes and ones that were desperately needed for me to ever consider supporting funding for your organization. You came to us, you listened to our concerns, you saw what they were, and you made the changes, you and the board. And I just want to say how much I appreciate the seriousness that you took and the changes that you made and how much better your facility will be operating. Hard decisions, difficult conversations, and you had them. And not everybody does. So thank you. Jim, you as well. Thank you all for actually taking the time and making sure that this organization is built right and will continue into the future. And speaking of, the slide before this did not say interim in front of your name. So we'll see you back here.
I keep reminding them.
Yeah, we'll see you back here in the spring, sir. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck,
Present.
pass, abstain.
No, president. That's a vote. President is a vote.
No.
That's a different vote.
Commissioner Chauncey,
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol,
No.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Commissioner Helton,
Yes.
Dr. Highlander,
Pass.
Dr. Mackey, Commissioner Sharp,
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley,
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes.
Dr. Highlander,
What is the count now, ma'am?
the yeses are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the nos are 2.
I'll pass.
You passed the first time and I'm coming back to you.
Second pass means a no.
Second pass is a no.
Dr. Mackey?
Pass.
Okay.
Madam
Resolution
Clerk, by that
passes.
count, resolution
Yeah.
passes. Thank you. Madam Clerk, 1225-9, please.
Resolution 1225-9, a resolution making an appropriation to Friends of Hickson in the amount of $1,000 from general fund travel discretionary monies as allotted to District 3.
Motion approved.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Eversol, second by Commissioner Shipley. Lights, roll call, please.
Yes.
Commissioner Beck? Commissioner Chauncey?
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol?
Yes.
Commissioner Graham?
Yes.
Commissioner Helton?
Yes.
Dr. Highlander?
Yes.
Dr. Mackey?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp?
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley?
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. Thank you. 1225-9 passes. Madam Clerk, 1225-10, please.
Resolution 1225-10, a resolution requesting the Tennessee General Assembly to increase the income limit for the property tax relief program in Hamilton County.
Motion approved.
All right, we got a motion by Commissioner Highlander, or I'm sorry, a motion by Commissioner Eversol, a second by Commissioner Graham. Was it Beck? I'm sorry, Commissioner Beck. Got you on the second. And I have a light, Commissioner Helton.
Thank you, Chair. Attorney Varnell, did we attach a specific number to this or just a general request? About a 20,
I can't remember the exact number. 48,250.
that's what I thought.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I have no further lights. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Beck?
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey?
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol?
Yes.
Commissioner Graham?
Yes.
Commissioner Helton?
Yes.
Dr. Highlander?
Yes.
Dr. Mackey?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp?
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley?
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. 1225-10 passes. Madam Clerk, 1225-11, please.
Resolution 1225-11, a resolution approving a zero-interest loan to the city of Red Bank, Tennessee to ameliorate the impact of the incorrect certified tax rate for fiscal year 2026.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion by Commissioner Sharp, second by Commissioner Mackey. And Commissioner Sharp, I see your light first, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, Commissioners, 7 years ago, the city of Red Bank initiated a strategic planning process that had a tremendous amount of public input and ultimately passed unanimously on the city commission. This plan and the desire to execute it has been supported by 3 subsequent elections. And this year, there were a few mistakes that were made that could hamper the progress of this plan that the community has supported. What this resolution does is it helps to facilitate the will of the citizenry of the city of Red Bank. I have asked 2 individuals to join us today, Martin Granum who is the city manager. He's completed a career, Martin has completed a career in the United States Air Force and then worked for 2 other counties out of the state here before moving to Red Bank and becoming the city manager in 2021. Martin also is a certified municipal finance officer here in the state of Tennessee. And Tracy Perry is a Chattanooga native whose early path shifted from nursing to motherhood, then to local government, has built a wide-ranging career in law enforcement, from being a corrections officer in the Hamilton County Jail to a Red Bank police records, then on the city administration, ultimately earning multiple professional certificates and becoming Red Bank's Director of Administration and Finance in 2024. Tracy is a certified municipal finance officer in the state of Tennessee. And I've put together a few questions that I wanted to ask for the benefit of the commission and the public, these 2 individuals. And then, of course, if there are any other questions from the dais, I'm sure that they'd be happy to entertain them, as would I. If I could ask Mr. Granum and Ms. Perry, if she wishes to join us. Thank you for being here. Mr. Granum, I don't know which one of you guys want to answer these questions, but I've got a couple of them, and I'll leave it up to you to however you want to address these. But thank you so much for being here. My first question: what is the size of your overall budget in the city of Red Bank, and what kind of financial impact is this shortfall going to have?
Thank you, Commissioner Sharp, and thank you, Chair, and thank you, Commissioners. Our total budget for the city of Red Bank is $11.1 million. The amount of this shortfall is $762,000, about 7% of our total budget. The shortfall represents about 14% of our budgeted property tax revenue this year.
That's a big percentage.
It's a big hit.
Obviously, you're going to have to adjust.
Yes, sir.
What are you planning to do to manage the impact?
We have developed what we call internally a belt tightening plan to include delaying capital projects, implementing a hiring freeze for vacancies after the 1st of January, and a wide range of department-specific reductions to manage the impact prudently across all our areas of service delivery. And at the end of the fiscal year, we'll have to dip into our fund balance to manage this impact. What is not part of this strategy, but worth mentioning, is we're not talking about mid-year adjustments, which we would typically be entertaining at this point of the year. As you know, Chattanooga has made a once-in-a-decade investment in their police and fire wages, and that's creating wage pressure on everyone, including Red Bank. And we were looking at software improvements in our HR and finance and payroll areas that would improve our efficiency. None of those mid-year emerging needs will be considered this fiscal year.
Okay, so you're going to have to postpone a lot of work and potentially go without some staff, potentially law enforcement or fire service.
Any area of service delivery that incurs a vacancy, police, fire, public works, court, community development, city hall, those would all be frozen until the next fiscal year.
Now, this resolution is to offer a loan, interest-free, to the city of Red Bank, not for the full amount of the shortfall, but for just a portion of that amount. Could you explain that just a little bit?
Yes, sir. Actually, what this does is the intent with the certified tax rate during a reappraisal year is to have the same level of income that you have in the next year that you had in the previous year. And that's what this loan, the zero interest loan, gets us back to. The same revenues we would have had last year. It pluses it up to the same revenue this year. So we don't actually have a drop in revenue. There's no tax increase in it. It's just preserving the revenue we had last year into this year.
Got it. So this loan How will it help you in your budgeting process? What will you be able to achieve with this loan?
Thank you, sir. This loan really is all about maintenance of effort across all areas of service delivery by ensuring staffing is maintained at appropriate levels across all aspects of service delivery. And I mentioned before, police, fire, public works, court, community development, and city hall employees. This loan will also enable maintenance of effort on all of our planned capital projects, planned and ongoing capital projects. Many of these capital projects have a 5, 10, even 15-year event horizon. We've leaned in heavily to TDOT, got a lot of funds from the MPO and TDOT funded projects. There's about a half a dozen of them playing out in Red Bank right now. We've leaned into things that the community has identified in our Park and Rec Master Plan, new park projects. We have 4 park projects in the works, and these have been long planned. And basically, this allows us to have the fund balance, the capital, to keep all those projects moving as planned. Now, many of these projects actually are reimbursable. The TDOT, usually it's about an 80-20 split. Some of them are even 100% grant, but we still have to pay the invoices up front. We have to have the capital on hand in our fund balance to pay those sometimes very large invoices and then wait months or longer for the reimbursement. So this critical fund would allow us to have adequate fund balance, keep all these capital projects as planned without interruption, and preserve our level of staffing across all of our areas of service delivery.
Thank you. That's really helpful for me to understand. I hope for my colleagues. One thing that I know is on the minds of many people, this was a mistake. I mean, mistakes were made in multiple areas by multiple agencies. We all make mistakes. I think owning those and moving forward is the best course of action at any time of this type of situation. How will you, or how do you plan to avoid this type of situation happening in the future?
Thank you, Commissioner. It's important to acknowledge that all 3 parties bear some responsibility for this area. And I would like to commend the Assessor of Properties Office for being candid, forthright, and professional by working with us as the necessary corrections to the certified tax rate and now have been implemented. Indeed, the State Board of Equalization has changed their form, which will be helpful in ensuring this mistake doesn't happen in the future. The form now actually shows the tax rate as a line entry on the form. So when you're looking at all the numbers that go into the calculation, they're actually all on the form now. So that's a huge win for everybody. And for our part, we will do our own calculations and submit them directly to the state in the future. So all 3 parties, the Assessor of Property, the State Board of Equalization, and the City of Red Bank, have changed their practices and procedures, and in a good way, to ensure this does not happen again to Red Bank or any other jurisdiction.
Mr. Grantham, I really appreciate that explanation. I hope that that's as helpful to my colleagues as it has been to me in understanding the situation. Gentlemen, the real issue here is our cash flow in the city of Red Bank, their cash flow. I live in Red Bank. I represent these people. We have projects that have been in the works for a long time, one of which this body has voted to allocate funding to with Mayor Wamps leaning into communities grant program. These things will not be able to happen according to schedule if we do not support this. I really appreciate the both of you being here to explain this today and answer my questions. I humbly ask for all of your support in this resolution. I hope that you see fit, and I will yield the mic in case there are any other questions that my colleagues may have. Again, thank you both for the explanations.
Good, sir. Commissioner Highlander.
Thank you, Chairman. Sir, remind me, what is the amount, not 760,000, but what is the amount of the loan, dollar figure? Do you know?
Yes, sir, I do. It is $493,719. And
Okay.
that basically restores us to last year's level of
Right.
revenue.
And I appreciate that, and I understand that. The 760 would have been if, with the adjustment that was made, if it had been, what had been requested. Got a couple of questions. What is your reserve, your fund balance? What is it now?
So the fund balance is important when you understand our total budget, and our total budget is 11.1 million this year. And our current fund balance snapshot right now, this afternoon, was $5,212,100.19. So I'm unusually precise because I anticipated that question. More importantly, if you look at our budget, we're in a valley right now in terms of revenues. You know, the property taxes haven't really started to come in. Typically, for most local governments, yours included, December is the leanest. And then things get better as the property tax starts to come in. So we're in that valley right now. So we're at a low spot, and that's our low spot. It may get a little lower before it starts to plus up. Our budget anticipates an ending fund balance if we take this full hit of 6.8 million. So against an $11 million budget, 11.1, our ending fund balance is anticipated to be 6.8 if we take this hit. If we get this relief, then we're in better shape.
How much of that fund balance could you utilize to meet your needs right now?
We have adequate fund balance to absorb this hit. The question comes into, is it prudent to continue all the things we have in the works, knowing that we're going to be extremely lean? We're not going to get to the point where we're on the comptroller's watch list, and we're not looking at a tax anticipation note, basically a short-term loan to make payroll. We're not in that kind of condition. The city of Red Bank is financially sound, and we will always be financially sound. What this zero interest, relatively short-term loan allows us is the maintenance of effort pretty much on the important levels of service delivery across our departments, which basically comes down to staffing, and sustaining maintenance of effort on our capital projects, which have been long planned. We have one out for bid right now, repaving Dayton Boulevard from Browntown and Wickley north to GAD. That's in the mix right now. We have several other large projects replacing the low water bridge, ADA upgrades on the sidewalk from Memorial South down to close to the tunnel. So we have a lot of fairly large capital projects. Ultimately, those get reimbursed. It's about an 80-20 split typically. We have some park projects. We have a $402,000 park project, which is 100% funded by the Tennessee Department of Health. But we have to make those payments, and it's a reimbursement. So this is where the fund balance really is critical for us. So we have adequate fund balance to sustain those capital projects, keep the staffing where it should be. And this is why we're seeking this relief from the commission.
So of the contracts that are out, if you don't get this money, you're saying you could not fulfill those contracts?
No, no, we will be able to fulfill our contracts. What we would do is delay some of the ones that are in the works. We have several more in the queue. We have ongoing design. We anticipated putting some out to bid later in the fiscal year. We have to defer that.
Okay. Well, I serve on the MPO board, and we have approved several projects that you mentioned. I'm aware of those, and I appreciate that. Let me ponder this for a minute. I may have an alternative, an amendment to your solution, but anyway, let me see. I want to hear what everyone else has to say. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sir. Commissioner Shipley.
Thank you. From what I've read in the paper, they continue to say $8 million. Is that what you're going to have in escrow? 8 million? Where did they get that number? Fund balance, whatever you want to call it.
Well, I really don't know, sir. I can't speak to that right now. We have, the ending fund balance originally budgeted was about 7.5 million. So it's not, not way off that $8 million figure, but I'm not familiar with an $8 million figure.
But what I'm hearing you say, and you can operate and do all the projects. You just don't want to get into your fund balance. Is that what I'm hearing?
Not necessarily not get into the fund balance. We want to stay safe in our dipping into the fund balance. Our CFO wants us to be above 50% of fund balance, and we're actually at this moment slightly below that. So we're into the areas where our financial team is telling us we need to slow down. And so that's really what it's all about. Maintenance of effort, sitting on some vacancies, deferring some capital projects. That's what we would do to be prudent and financially sound if we have to absorb this entire $762,000 revenue shortfall this year.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Baker.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Over the last 3 years, how much has your budget increased by?
I don't have the figure actually available, sir.
Give me a ballpark. You're at 11.1 now. What were you 3 years ago?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
I'm gonna say probably about 3 million because of the ARPA funds that we received. About
Well, those
3
are
years
one
ago.
time, but I mean, just general operating funds.
I really don't know. I don't think it's been a whole lot. The budget has grown because we've received and expensed the ARP money, so that probably makes it look a little bit larger, but we're largely a property tax town, and so the revenues are what they are. We've typically maintained a healthy fund balance, and we're still there, so.
You've had two at least property tax increases by, well, this one would be 20%. The one before is like 50%. Is that right? Property tax?
I don't have those numbers off the top of my head. There was a property tax increase about 3 years ago. And then this year, the budget that we're currently in, the current year, was anticipated to be about a 5% property tax increase. What the result of that effort to increase property taxes by 5% ultimately offset the magnitude of the error. The actual magnitude of the error is over $900,000. But the impact to us is about 762 because we intended to do about a 5% tax increase this year.
Mhm.
So there was a significant tax increase about 3 years ago, the one you're referring to, and then this year it was about a 5%, which was basically the inflation that we'd experienced, 3% and then 2%, and that was the basis for the 5% this year.
So, and you were talking about this being a short-term loan. Isn't this a request for 10-year payment?
Yes, that's the resolution. We've been in conversation with others that it may be more suitable to shorten it. So yes, 10 years is what the resolution is. That would be optimal for us, but the city of Red Bank would appreciate the terms that this commission feels is appropriate.
Okay. What would you live with?
We could live with 4. We'd prefer 5.
4 years?
Yes,
Not
sir.
Okay. So obviously when I heard about this first from Commissioner Sharp, I got with the comptroller and got a copy of the letter. It doesn't have a date. That was sent to your mayor. Copy to you, Ms. Perry. Sent to Mr. Haynes, or assessor of property, and then was signed by you about the tax rate. I mean, it's a lot of checks and balances that were overlooked. Can you explain that?
I can, yes, sir. It's a very good question. When you get into the statute, and we've all done that now, it basically requires the jurisdiction to do the calculation and submit it to the State Board of Equalization. But that had not been the practice. Our city attorney's been the city attorney through 9 reassessments. He goes back to 1979. And he had never experienced where the city of Red Bank directly submitted the calculation to the State Board of Equalization. It was always submitted on behalf of the city of Red Bank by the assessor of property. But when it turns out that's actually not what statute indicates. The calculation of the certified tax rate requires data from 3 sources. The State Board of Equalization, which brings their state assessed Office of Assessed Properties, basically railroads and utilities. The state level does that level of assessment. Then the assessor of property does the real and personal property in the county. And the city, the jurisdiction, Red Bank in this case, is supposed to add in the tax rate. And you put all that together, shake it up and pour it out, and you get a certified tax rate. Unfortunately, I'm getting flustered, sorry. Have to
Okay,
catch
you're
my
doing
breath here. The calculation form from the state doesn't actually have you put all the factors in the calculation on the form. The one number that's missing is the tax rate. And what happened this year was the assessor's office used the incorrect tax rate. So if you input the incorrect tax rate and do the math, you get to the wrong certified tax rate. So what happened in Red Bank, and I think it's the case for every jurisdiction, I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody else, but the form is presented as fiat accompli. This is your certified tax rate. In fact, it's shared widely once it's ready for distribution. We were never asked to do a calculation. And we, prior to this, had never done the calculation. It was done on behalf of the city and submitted to the State Board of Equalization. But again, when you look at the statute, what the statute says is every jurisdiction is supposed to do their own calculation and submit it independently to the State Board of Equalization. That's our process change. We will do that going forward.
And if I may,
Sure.
I know this is not an excuse for what happened, but we've had a huge turnover in City Hall, and this was my second, but not as being involved in finance. And we had a meeting with the assessor's office, and it was explained to us there that they did all of these things, brought it to us to sign off, and then they submitted it. So being new, we thought, okay, they do all of this. They had told us prior to this form coming to us what our rate was going to be. It might change just a little bit when the state puts in the OSAP, the railroads and utilities, but it's going to be pretty close to this number. So when we saw this piece of paper with that number on it, we're like, okay, great, let's move forward with this. So like I said, I know it's not an excuse, but that kind of explains this particular instance.
And that's because you never calculated the number before, so you didn't really know what number. to
Right,
expect.
like there are a whole bunch of numbers on this piece of paper, and we don't know where they come from.
But the final, like the 0.8968,
Yeah, that number
you
was at
didn't
the
know that
bottom.
number was the number you needed to have.
No, we'd never done the calculation. Now,
That's kind of
myself,
scary.
Tracy, well, it's the way it's done all around the state. It is kind
Oh.
of scary.
Lee, is that the way we do it?
Generally, the assessor guides that program. I do see the numbers before they come to approve them, but yes, it's basically guided through the assessor's office.
But you need to know you know what number you're looking for. Because you can't base your budget on anything other than that number. Is that correct? Or do you just let them give you a number?
Well, again, what they're referring to is the current tax rate is not shown on the form. It just ends up showing the numbers that were keyed in for the assessment and the adjustments for the equalization. And then you basically have to take those numbers, multiply them by the tax rate, which is not shown on that form, to come up with your certified tax rate. So I think that's what they're referring to, the number not on the form, that they didn't see it.
So
But-
like in
but-
this case, it's like 0.8968. If that was the county rate, would you be looking to see that match the rate that you calculated in your finance department, or would you just not care what rate? I can't imagine that to be true.
Now, I'm somewhat of a numbers nerd,
That's
so,
what I thought.
yes, I did recalculate our numbers.
That's what I thought. Okay. All right. Thank you. Oh, yeah. So one other question. So the $8.6 million fund balance you had on June 30th, 2024, you said is going down to 6.8 million by the time we get to the same period, 2026, I guess. How did it if we're talking about 700,000 here or 900, how did it go down 1.8 million?
A very good question, Commissioner. There was a planned use of fund balance baked into our budget. We intentionally were chipping away at that in a planned way for some of these capital projects we're talking about. One example is the Leaning Into Communities grant. That opportunity came along, wasn't budgeted. The commission decided it was an opportunity we wanted to take advantage of. That's 250,000 to match the county's 250,000. So those are examples of intentional and planned use of fund balance.
Okay. All right, I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I've just got one question. If somehow or another magically, all of the revenue stopped coming in and you looked at your fund balance, how long would your fund balance last?
We have 6 months of operating fund balance right now.
Okay.
And the comptroller says a minimum is 2 to 3. So we're double what the comptroller says is a minimum. Our CFO's comfort level is 6 months. So we're right at the edge of our CFO's comfort on this issue.
So you're double rainy day fund.
We don't have a rainy day fund, and I always object to people using that term. We don't have a fund where we actually intentionally put money in for a rainy day. We just have general fund balance,
But you got over 6 months of funds sitting there.
which is healthy. It's not excessive, but yes, we do. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Right now, today, we have a little over 5 million against an $11 million budget. So it's a little bit less than 6 months.
So Lee, what's our, if we stopped, what would be for the county? How many months do we have on here?
We're generally at about 40%. So
5 months?
yeah, would be.
So we're at 5 months, you're at 6 months, and you want us, okay. That's my question. All right. No further questions.
I mean, Commissioner Highlander, I see your light, sir.
If you took your fund balance down to say 4 months, that would be approximately what, about $1.5 million out of it. So if we took, I'm just trying to do, I'm not a numbers nerd. I wish I was. I appreciate Lee. He's wonderful at it. I'm not. But you're wanting 496,000. If you would say, would 350,000 help you at all?
It absolutely would. Yes, sir.
But how much would that leave you in fund balance? If you had, approximately ballpark?
Well, we're going to protect our fund balance. That's an imperative to stay financially sound. So what we would do is throttle the other aspects of our expenditure. We would make go, no-go decisions on capital projects. We would make go, no-go decisions on staffing issues. But the 350, I believe that was the number you mentioned, would give us considerably more operating room because our fund balance is just it's a bottom line. We have to have it, particularly in light of the fairly robust level of large capital projects that are already ongoing, these big paving projects. So we have to protect our fund balance to make sure that we don't get in trouble with the comptroller or anybody else. So this is really going to throttle our operational activity. And that would be very significantly helpful. For example, just to put it into perspective, 350,000 would be almost 4 staff, maybe a little bit more. So just to make it real, we have 85 staff total when we're fully staffed in the city of Red Bank across all of our areas of service delivery. We have 85 people. That would be 4 people.
People make mistakes. I mean, I understand.
Yes, sir.
I think I probably made one in the, when we were given the paperwork on the Hilltop extension, I did not realize it went through the park. And that was my mistake. I'm not good at reading maps. And so we were not told that, but I could have read it and understood it and I did not. So, I mean, to err is human, to forgive is divine, but, I'm willing to I can see how there's some problems there. I would be willing to make an amendment, and it may or may not pass, that we provide a loan of 350,000 for 4 years, not 10. I cannot support a 10-year at all. And I think you've got enough fund balance. If we make a $350,000 loan for 4 years, it would be helpful, not what you want, but it would be helpful. And that's an amendment I would propose, Chairman. I may not get a second. I don't know.
I'll second the amendment if it's going to help keep the wheels turning in the city of Red Bank. I'll second that amendment.
All right, we still have a few more lights we'll get to. We do have a motion for an amendment and a second, but let's get through the rest of these lights before we take any action. Commissioner Shipley, sir.
I understand that we want to help. But I don't understand all the checks, balances. We've got money to operate. We don't want to use the money. We want to borrow money. Now, we got a bunch more municipalities in this county. What do we do when they come? Now, if we loan everybody this much money, we're getting Adams County in a mess. So you do for one, remember you got to do for all.
Commissioner Sharp, I see your light.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. And I appreciate the vigor, for which our colleague from District 1 speaks on this topic. I would say to that, that if the city of Soddy Daisy were in the same position, I hope that the commissioner from District 1 would advocate for their needs as vigorously as I will advocate for those of the city of Red Bank. I just want to, point out that, we all have financial requirements. We have projects that we want to do. We can't do all of them. There are multiple projects that Mr. Granum has pointed to that are required to be funded, and the need for the fund balance to navigate that funding with the state of Tennessee and with Hamilton County is troublesome because of this mistake on all three areas of that touch the tax assessment. This amount, now I did the math a minute ago for the 490, so I don't know, my math's off, but I was going to say is that 490 is about 0.35% of Hamilton County's fund balance, 0.35%. It's about 6% of Red Bank's. So that's a substantial difference, particularly with these large infrastructure projects that are currently being planned to be executed in the coming year. I would just, I just wanted to mention those two things. I appreciate the amendment that's offered, and I hope that you all, or at least 6 of you, will see fit to support it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Commissioner Baker, I see your light.
Yeah, I think Commissioner Shipley made a great point, and I remember a couple of years ago, Signal Mountain was 350,000 out of fund balance, and that's what they did. And you've got the fund balance. I think that's good. That's healthy. And I just don't think, I agree that if we do one, we got to do it for all. And then I think we get ourselves in a bad position. Thank you.
All right. Seeing no further lights, I have a comment. Mr. Granum, thank you for being here and answering every question directly and fully.
Thank you, sir.
Even offering more information than what was necessary to answer the question. That doesn't often happen. So I want to show appreciation for that. Honesty gets you a long way.
Thank you, sir.
I do have one question, and it's mainly because of a number of things that I've heard my colleagues saying up here. And I don't know that it was made clear, and I know we kind of got a discussion paper on it, and I totally understand the situation with the tax rate, the certified tax rate being lower when it was submitted to you. So you budgeted, well, you didn't budget based on that, but you assumed that it would fit your budget. And it may state it here, but I want to ask the question. So what is your tax rate today that Red Bank taxpayers are paying on?
Sir, we are paying 0.98 cents. And I can step you through all the numbers if that would be helpful. The original certified tax rate, which now in hindsight was the incorrect, was 0.8968.
Okay.
Then the commission at the time decided we needed a modest increase in revenue. And so instead of just adopting the certified tax rate as a revenue neutral, they adopted a 98-cent tax rate. And so there was a difference between 0.8968 up to 0.98. Now, fast forward, and it was our auditor actually is who caught this error in the routine process of auditing the previous fiscal year. The auditor, kudos to them, discovered and did what I call forensic accounting and figured out that this just wasn't adding up. The correct certified tax rate is 1.0775. So it goes from 0.8968 up to 1.0775. That's the incorrect certified tax rate and the correct certified tax rate. The tax rate that was just passed at first reading last night by the Red Bank Commission was to adopt the 1.1306 as the tax rate. And that reflects, that is the tax rate that would yield the budgeted level of property tax revenue that was in the budget. So going from 1.0775 to 1.1306 is the same as what we did when we went from basically 89 cents to 98 cents in terms of intent on the part of the commission.
So explain that last part. Again, you said they voted to change the rate or adopt a different rate. So are Red Bank taxpayers now paying 1.1306?
No, sir. And that is, I appreciate that question very much. There's a lot of experience at the state level of how to correct a incorrect certified tax rate. And it's available on the comptroller's website. We've now put it on our website. Once the tax bills have been mailed out, there is no opportunity to revisit that issue. So practically speaking, we are going to collect revenue based on a 98-cent tax rate. And that's the revenues we're going to come in. That's why we know what our budget shortfall would be. There's really no change in that. Next year, obviously, we can change the tax rate and based on the needs of the city at that time. But the issue for the Red Bank Commission was to set the record straight that to do two things in our resolution. First reading was Tuesday, and in 2 weeks will be the second reading, to acknowledge the correct certified tax rate, the 1.0775, and then state the commission's intent to have the tax rate set at 1.1306. Those are just academic exercises at this point.
No impact to revenue.
No impact. No
All right.
impact to taxpayers, no impact to actual revenues.
So I can sympathize with the errors many of my colleagues have pointed out. My issue, biggest issue with this is that the residents of Red Bank have gotten a tax break that we're being asked to subsidize. Because had the proper tax rate been delivered to you, they would be paying 1.1306 in order to get to this amount. So yes, they're paying less than they would. All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Sharp.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I appreciate the point of view. I just want to point out that nor I nor the people of Red Bank or this commissioner are asking for a handout. It's just a loan. We'll pay it back. City of Red Bank and the citizens of City of Red Bank will pay the loan back over the course of 4 years as the resolution has been presented to be amended. No handouts, just a hand up from Big Brother. That's all we're asking for so that we can keep the wheels moving in the direction that the citizenry has voted for them to go. And I hope that, again, for the third time, maybe that's a charm. I would appreciate the consideration and a yes vote. And again, thank you both. This is my resolution. I brought this resolution. You guys have been taking the questions and the heat for it, and I appreciate that. You've done so incredibly eloquently, very concise, which I would not be, which is one of the reasons why I asked them to be here. And thank you again for being here. You've done a really good job. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Good, sir. All right, prior to going to the amendments, Ms. Farnell?
Yes, just a point of clarification, Chairman. On the amendment, do we need to clarify, number one, that it is still a zero interest loan? And then do we also need to clarify what the yearly payment amounts will be?
Commissioner Highlander, this was your amendment. Do you have a response?
Yes, sir. I would assume that it would be 25% of $350,000 each year for 4 years.
No assumption, it's your amendment,
With,
sir.
pardon me?
I said, we're not assuming it's your amendment.
And, well, okay, it will
So-
be 25% of 350,000 for 4 years with, and it is a loan. It is not a gift. It is a loan, and it will be paid back $87,500. My actuarial here just told me. Thank you, sir. For 4 years, and that will be the amount that the city would pay back, and it is interest free. That would be my resolution. Thank you.
Does that answer the question, ma'am?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Roll call on the amendment, please.
Commissioner Baker,
No.
Commissioner Beck,
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey,
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol,
No.
Commissioner Graham, Commissioner Helton, Dr. Highlander, Dr. Mackey,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp,
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley, Chairman Smith.
No.
Resolution fails, amendment fails.
The amendment fails, which takes us back to the original resolution. And seeing no lights, roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
No.
Commissioner Beck,
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey,
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol,
No.
Commissioner Graham, Commissioner Helton,
No.
Dr. Highlander,
No.
Dr. Mackey,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp,
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley,
No.
Chairman Smith.
No.
Resolution fails.
1225-11 fails. That takes us to announcements. Commissioner Shipley,
So announced.
Commissioner Baker,
No announcements.
Commissioner Mackey.
Mr. Chairman, there is, some people are wearing some psychedelic colors. Do you know who that is?
I believe those stickers announced that they are here in what district they're from. Is that what you're talking about, the bright orange stickers?
Mm.
Yeah,
Is that
I
orange?
believe that is correct.
Right, great.
Yeah, the bright green. Yep.
Oh.
Yellow,
okay.
green.
Who are they?
I don't know.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Commissioner Beck,
No announcements.
Commissioner Sharp.
I'm not going to say anything at all. Thank you, Chairman.
Commissioner Hilton.
Thank you, Chair. The Friends of Appleton and East Brainerd are having restarting our annual Christmas tree lighting. Come out and celebrate with us. We're going to have Little Debbie's, Coca-Cola products, moon pies from the Chattanooga Bakery, as well as tasty donuts. So come out, load your kids up with a little sugar on a Friday night. Thank you. 5 o'clock this Friday.
Commissioner Chauncey.
No announcement.
Commissioner Highlander.
Chairman, I want to thank the commission for consideration of what the needs of people are, the Humane Society and the people and everyone else. And although we may disagree sometimes, I appreciate that everyone has an opportunity to put their ideas and their concepts forth. And I appreciate each of you gentlemen very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Eversol.
Thank you, Chairman. Just real quick, Lee Browner and I met a couple weeks ago and Claire was with us and, we talked about the budget season next year. The budget forms have been emailed out to all the constitutional offices and all the departments, so they have their budgets with the turn back into Lee by the end of January. And Lee and I kind of discussed, and we're going to try something a little different as far as timing this year. Budget hearings, our goal is to begin them in March with some of the constitutional offices so that we have little pieces at a time versus all of it kind of bulked in at one time. So I just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. And then Collegedale Christmas tree lighting is Sunday, 5 p.m. at the Commons. Hope everybody can be there. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Commissioner Graham.
Briefly, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to remind everybody this Saturday, and we've got report that the weather is going to be good for Saturday morning, but Main Times 24 is a huge event. It's in our district. It's all kinds of different things going on in Main Times 24 this Saturday. There's a pancake breakfast. There's shops that are open. There's it's probably one of the best parades in town. And the parade starts at 10:30 promptly, they say, promptly at 10:30. And there's over 114 people that are already in the parade. I don't know if it's gained since the last number I got, but it's a great time. It's a great parade. A lot of people come out. So if y'all are in the neighborhood and want to do something fun or have fun with your family, come on out to Main Times 24. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, I see your light.
Yeah, just a quick housekeeping item. We've received a copy of the FY 26 Comprehensive Annual Budget Report, and we'll get that filed.
Great, thank you. Attorney Varnell.
No announcements.
Mayor Wong, office, no announcements? No, he was out. Takes it down to me. One announcement, Friends of Hickson is also having an event on Saturday at 6 p.m. at Clear Creek for our annual Christmas tree lighting. For those of you in the area and want to stop by, I'd love to have you. And then I have one additional comment. Commissioner Sharp, I want to state this very clearly. There are many, many, many people who can learn a great deal by your level of advocacy for your constituents. And I hope they pay very close attention to the way you handle yourself and the way you represent those that put you there to represent you. With that, we'll move to the public. Any discussion other than zoning, we'll need a name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Could I respectfully wait for the remaining representatives to come back? Specifically,
You're
I'm
more than welcome to go to the back of the line over there and come back up.
okay.
Kathy Lennon, District 6. I'm a little shaky because thank you, Commissioner Sharp, for bringing up that resolution. I live in Red Bank, and I was at the meeting when the assessor of property came to admit what he did to Red Bank. Apologized to all of us at the meeting. I thought that this was a great attempt to help Red Bank out after the assessor of property basically screwed it up 6 ways to Sunday, and he admitted it in a special called meeting in Red Bank. He openly took the blame. The assessor has been doing appraisal processes wrong since forever, and his predecessors before him and the Board of Equalization was just allowing it because that is how it has always been done. There's a calculation process that's in a state statute that has not been followed, and that none of the cities knew about this because we've always been told that the assessor of property is responsible. And now we will never, as you heard our city manager say, we'll never again not do our own calculations. We learned the hard way, which is actually what the state statute says is supposed to be happening anyway. I'm just extremely disappointed that you all could not pass that resolution. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Evening.
Sorry?
No, she said evening.
Oh, evening again. My name is Elspeth Hare, and I live at 5500 Hidden Oaks Lane. I'm one of the co-founders of Save Enterprise South Nature Park. And today I wanted to make sure that we all paid attention to the word forever, which we will all find in the deed restrictions placed on Enterprise South Nature Park. As a reminder, forever means forever, not until it's convenient, and not until industrial developers want more land. The deed specifically states that the nature park is supposed to remain a nature park. It does not say that we can sell off hundreds and hundreds of acres just because we feel like it. The reason I'm bringing up this specific language is because the mayor's proposal of removing these deed restrictions and selling off these acres of Enterprise South Nature Park to industrial developers is in direct opposition to the deed language, as well as the taxpayers' wishes. It's also worth noting that removing deed restrictions and placing them on other property, it tells the taxpayers these deed restrictions aren't really worth anything. If we ignore them in reference to Enterprise South Nature Park, there's no reason they won't be ignored if we place it on different properties. Removing these deed restrictions breaks a promise to the taxpayer. Hamilton County and the city of Chattanooga were given this land to hold in good stewardship, and we have. Removing protections on this property is a clear sign to developers that our parks are for sale. If we sell off Enterprise South Nature Park, it signals that our protected green spaces are no longer safe. The county has already spent over $2 million in taxpayer funds on this proposal, and all before the public was even made aware. We ask tonight that you stop allowing taxpayer money to be spent on a proposal that almost 12,000 people have said that they are opposed to. As always, we're looking forward to meeting with you guys and working together to get this solved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tara Phillips, 5948 Crestview Drive. I am a constituent from District 2. I heard a little conversation up here on the dais about my yellow name tag, and I just wanted to do a little explanation for all of you. We are a member of a grassroots kind of group of citizens who are really hoping that you all are going to keep this evening or even later meeting time. We're really happy to have this later time to be able to have public involvement. I think that most folks work and aren't able to come during the day, 9:30. And so we wanted to let you all know with our name tags that we are here. We're a member of the public. And also we wanted you to know what district we reside in, so that if you wanted to come up and talk to us as your constituents, you would know that, you know, I'm in District 2. I've got some other friends here from other districts. Yeah, I just wanted to let you all know about that. I also am very pro having this in the evening. So I want to also let you know that as a member of the public, I would like to continue to have evening meetings. And thank you.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Mark Herndon, District 1. I'll give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, I hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving. Mr. Shipley, I know that we share something similar right now that's doesn't feel great, just celebrating things with people missing, and I hope you have people around you that make you feel loved and appreciated. The good is the meeting time, the change is great. I hope that you guys enjoy the interaction that you're getting. I will ask that you please, before you knock this down and go back to 9, at least consider giving it a shot at 6:30, 5:30, 7, something else. Because I think that you'll get a lot more public involvement that way. The bad What a disappointing vote that was. It was seemingly so clear that it was a mistake done that could have been avoided, that Red Bank had nothing to do with. That was pretty disappointing to see that. The ugly is that I'm going to bring to you the thought that you guys, you men that represent us as a community, have so much more to input in what the current mayor is trying to do at Enterprise South. As a community, it has been a resounding, and I'll spell it so I don't get in trouble, HELL no to this move. Because we value that, because we understand how those that sat in your seats before you and those that led our county before us had a vision that could attract and could make this county better than it was. And part of that, a huge part of that, was to continue to make Hamilton County as beautiful and as aware of our natural beauty as we are. I'll ask that you please play the role that you are voted to play and speak up as much as your conscience allows you to, and then give it a little more for us and oppose this move that's being done against our will. There are ways that we can generate revenue for this county that we are ignoring. The conflict of interest are so glaring that if nothing else, it should give us pause to say, who is benefiting here? Because it's not the county. We may benefit in a short term by doing something like this, but long term, we will not benefit as a county. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Megan Gilbert at 3901 Weldon Drive in Eastridge, District 8, and I think this needs to be heard for especially the folks that are not in attendance, like my representative currently. During this time waiting for them to return, I did extend my parking, so I'll just make a note of that. But I want to speak to a simple but important principle. Public service requires public engagement. As county commissioners, you were elected to represent different parts of our community, but true representation is an active responsibility. It means meeting people where they are, making sure they know how to participate, and creating real opportunities for them to be heard. So, you're in the midst of testing a new meeting time change, and you've chosen to do that in arguably the 2 busiest months of the year, and the new meeting time isn't even after regular business hours. I understand that no one gives you a step-by-step guide on how to engage with folks in the community. But when community members aren't in the room, that shouldn't be read as a lack of interest. It should be a signal to look at how is information shared, how accessible is the process, and most importantly, let's take time to reconsider what you can do to reach people more effectively. Our county is diverse, busy, and full of people who care deeply about the decisions you make. But even the most passionate people can only stay engaged if we make the process understandable and accessible. We're going into a big election next year. 3 elections, everyone. And when I think about the type of representative that I'm looking for, first off, I will say present would be nice. But I'd also like my commissioner to treat the public engagement as essential to their role and commit to actions that will make that value clear. Together, we can create a community where folks feel equipped and involved rather than intimidated and disconnected. Thank you.